All right, y'all. Episode 168 of the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Champ Ron, here on a sunny, hot July 3rd, 2020, here live in Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to everybody that is on Facebook Live, everybody that is on Spreaker, everybody that is on Spotify, YouTube, everywhere else that you catch this podcast. I thank you all so much for your diligence, for your support. And I just thank you for being you, because you're the very best you that will ever exist. And so because of that, I want to shout out to all of you. So I greatly appreciate every one of you and your support for the podcast. Subscribe, 5 star, wherever you get your pods. That helps us grow this audience and continue to connect with more people. And of course, we're brought to you by the Binge Podcast Network. Shout out to everybody that's on the Binge, from the Startup Life podcast all the way around the entire roster. Go there and support. They're on Facebook, the Binge Podcast Network. What I want to get into today briefly on this July 3rd, 2020 is the new online Minding Your Business directory. It has been definitely something that I've had in the making for some time, and I'm greatly appreciative of the support that I've received as it relates to this directory. Let me briefly tell you what we're going to do today is, for those listening to the podcast, you'll be able to hear everything about how the directory came about, some of the ups and downs that came with putting the directory together. And for those that are watching the video version of the podcast on YouTube, you'll actually be able to see a screenshot of the directory. First, let me say that you can visit the Minding Your Business directory at the mybpodcast.com/team. So that's the mybpodcast.com/team. That's THEMYBPODCAST.com/team. That's where you can go directly to the business directory. All right. Let me share with you how the directory came about. I always look for opportunities, one, to expand the podcast, and also to provide a resource to the community, to the Minding Your Business community. That's a lot of my background. As you know, my background professionally is in banking and economics. But also professionally and in my entrepreneur walk, I've always been someone that establishes platforms for others. I love to be able to provide a stage for other people with talent. And I love to be able to use resources, network, and just plain grit and grind, to be honest with you, to do that. And take the risk in doing that. And I've done that. It's been documented throughout my career thus far, and I'll continue to do that in ways that I see fit and where I see it makes sense for me. The directory came about. I had the idea of what's a way that I can show the community the different businesses from all the great guests that we have. With this being episode 168, we have had a ton of guests. There's a ton of people I've interviewed from locally right here in Memphis, Tennessee, across the country, and internationally. I've been able to do that. And that has been tremendous, to say the least. So great afternoon, everybody. Thank y'all so much for hopping in. Let me see a couple people real quick. Gregory, what's going on? Brittany, how you doing? Thank y'all so much for joining. Give me some thumbs up, some hearts, and share this on your profile and in your group pages and groups and that sort of thing. I appreciate that. So thank y'all so much, and great afternoon. So getting back to the directory. So the directory comes about. I wanted a way to showcase people who had been on the podcast, one. So what happens is there's often deals that are presented, and they tend to kind of exist with that one episode, right? So whenever I have someone on an episode and I'm interviewing them, oftentimes they've gone as far as creating landing pages specifically for the show, or specific, offers, things like that, percentages off their books, percentages off their products and services. And I didn't have to wait to capture that perpetually. What happens is you kind of go from episode to episode, and that offer or that discount or whatever kind of gets lost in the sauce, so to speak. So I wanted a way in YB that I could capture that for guests. So for people that come on the show, however they get together, with me, I wanted to be able to showcase them, the people that have been guests on the podcast. One of the things as far as with me and guest is, I'm from here in the city in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from the southeast part of the city, Orange Mound, within the original infrastructure or geography of the city of Memphis. I expect to win, right? I don't do things with the idea that I hope to win or I hope not to lose. I expect to win when I do things, or I don't do it, right? Scott Gentry, how you doing? Toya Gill, what's going on? I expect to win, okay? I take every interview with the utmost respect and the utmost energy. So I don't have, whether I'm interviewing, if I were to interview President Barack Obama or President Donald Trump or President Bill Clinton, I'm going to treat that the same way as if I were interviewing you. I'm going to be just as excited. I'm going to come with the same questions or similar questions related to how you respond. And I'm going to be excited about having you on. Okay. I know some podcasters, they have stack ranks, right? They give a lot of energy. To me, those are folks that don't really, they hate losing more than they expect to win. All right. I expect to win. So there's nothing new. Talking to another human being is what I enjoy doing as it comes to this podcast. I love sharing the best practices and the insight that comes from people that step out to develop their own means of production, their own business. Whether that's you continue to work your 9-to-5 job and you do that, or you do that exclusively, whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. All right. I love to hear the stories, and there's something innate with all successful people. And it's that they overcome obstacles and they realize that everything is not all about them. Everything they channel themselves into something bigger, and it helps them go beyond when tough times come, because tough times do come. All right. So back to the directory. This is what I want to showcase and what I want to share with my audience, and not just my audience, but even beyond. So it was about the guest on the podcast. The other thing that I wanted to be able to do and accomplish with the directory is, beyond people who had been guests on the podcast, I wanted to be able to showcase business in general. So even non-guest, I wanted a place that people could go to search businesses to support. And listen, supporting business, and let me just talk about supporting black business, okay? I know that's become trendy in the last month, okay? And I've talked about that on other episodes. But in authenticity, for those that are authentic about supporting black business, we've got to, and this is going to hurt some feelings, but we have to get to where we support all black business, okay? I'm here in the South, okay? A lot of folks, y'all are here in the South that are listening to this podcast, and then some of you aren't in the southern part of the United States. We love to eat, okay? I know how we are about restaurants, and we should be supporting our black restaurants. Make no bones about it. Support your black restaurant owner, okay? We love to dress up. We love to showcase things. So when we consume, we love to consume in our vanity. We love to consume outwardly, things that we can put on, things that we can wear, things that we can show, things are tangible in our hand. We should be doing that. Okay. We should not be limited to that. That's where I know I'm going to hurt some feelings. We should not be limited. Our only support of black business should not be to eat and what we wear. All right. We have black business owners in tech. We have black business owners in mechanic and automotive, in distribution, logistics, in healthcare and medical services, here in podcasting. Hello? In black media. Okay? All kinds of different products and services that we have black ownership in somewhere. And we need to seek those out and support those businesses too. I know it's not sexy. Okay, there's not sex appeal in a black-owned website designer to some people, right? It may not be the most tangible thing. You can't post about it and brag about it. You can't tag 50 people in the post and showcase how you did this or that when it's not something you can wear or eat. I get that, okay? We've got to transition beyond that, hopefully to a place where we're comfortable and we're audacious in going after supporting all black business. So I want to be able to show that here. The directory will showcase all businesses because I love small business. Small business, not in the thought of small business, but in the size and scope of number of employees and things like that. What defines small business certainly doesn't mean thinking small. And that's what this directory is about. This directory is about thinking big. And so what I wanted to do was, one, showcase podcast guests as I have them. They continue to come on. I get great requests for people that want to be on this show and people who listen to this show. And I'm more than grateful and appreciative. And then just for you, I wanted to place centralized that you could come and search for a business, irregardless of industry, size or scope, and you could be a part of it. All right. So I'm getting ready to, for those that are watching, you'll be able to see the directory. Billy, what's going on with cousin Billy, man, out there in Texas? What's going on, man? Great business owner for a long time. He is in the barber industry out there. So check him out. He's out there in El Paso. If you happen to cross through El Paso, stop by and see my cousin Billy. He's E. Mitchell Jr. here on Facebook. Stop by and see him. Let him know that you appreciate him and do business with him. Okay? Dwayne Merle, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining and checking me out here on the Facebook Live edition of the Minding Your Business podcast here, episode 168. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show this this directory, okay? All right, so now here we are. So if you, again, are watching this, you can see I'm at the homepage of themybpodcast.com. This is the website where the podcast is housed, okay? Larvizo Wright, what's going on, man? Check out his podcast as well. He was a guest a few episodes back. Check him out there. He's in the Chattanooga area doing big things there in his local market and then beyond, man. So make sure you check out everything that Larvizo Wright, Be Upright, is what you need to check out. And again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You can do business with Larvizo as well. You know, no, he's not going to sell you a pork sandwich. And no, he's not going to, fix your eyebrows, okay? But he's going to help you financially. He's going to help you understand the accounting of how you operate your business and the steps, and so that you can focus on the income generating side of your business and not monkeying around with all the other stuff. So Larvizo is a great example of a black business that we can support that, again, is not going to feed our vanity, and it's not going to fill your stomach, but it's going to fill your mind. Okay? All right, so here's what we're doing. We're looking at themybpodcast.com. And, of course, you can go here. You can request a copy of our media guide for 2020. It's very short and sweet. Shows some updated stats on listenership, as well as ways that you can advertise and promote here on the podcast. And it gives you some information on our reach and that sort of thing. So I'm going to click off of that because I already got it. You need to get it, but I already got it. And this is just information here as I scroll down about the podcast, including if you want to be a guest. So I use WinWorks as a scheduler. you can go here, and if you want to be a guest on the podcast, you don't have to put out an SOS signal. You don't have to worry about whether I want you or not. Yes, I do want you. And I want all of you that want to be a guest on the podcast. I'd love to have you. Okay. Your business doesn't have to be generating $2 million a minute. You can not even have your EIN number yet. Let's talk about your background and what you're looking to set up and where you are, because there's something you can share with the audience that we can all learn from. So that's what it's about. Okay. So when you go here, you click right here where it's got, and of course, you guys that are listening on the podcast, you can't see this, but when you go towards the bottom of the mybpodcast.com, okay, you'll see the WinWork scheduler. Click on where in the green it says the Minding Your Business Podcast guest slot. That's where you click. And when you click there, it's going to pull up a calendar with some available days and times. Select the day and time that works for you. Okay. That will generate an email that'll go to the calendar, and then I will send you a link invite. And for that day, you will be a guest on the podcast, and you can send me your information ahead of time. It's a great way to promote what you do, as many people have experienced great benefit from having been on this particular podcast, because I share it profusely, and not just on social media. And I'll get to that in a minute. I don't just post an episode once on Facebook and Instagram and then go on. Okay. People see episodes. I still share episodes from when I first started back in 2017. Okay. That's what it's about. All right. And then there's a contact us at the bottom of the website as well. If you've got information in terms of what you like to share, good, bad, or ugly, things that you like, things that you don't like, things that you're indifferent about, ideas that you have, ways that I can make the show better, ways that I can be better. That's what this is about. Contact us is for anybody and anything that you want to be able to share. All right, let's get to the directory. Okay. Lee Warren, how you doing? Thanks so much for joining here on the Minding Your Business podcast. I see you out there in Facebook land. All right. So here is the directory. Okay. Now, is the directory free? No, it's not free. No, it's not. Just like anything else you do is not free. Right. And you got to be careful. I'm actually going to do a whole episode about the hindrance or the intoxication with free. Many people are held back by free. All right. You have to invest. Okay. You have to have trust and confidence, and you have to invest. That's the way you make it out here. All right. If you're scared, you got to go, crawl under a rock or something. You know what I mean? But you got to invest out here. You want Yeezy shoes, you got to go buy them, right? You can't just sit on the corner and wait for somebody to bring them to you for free. You want J's, you want to eat, these great restaurants and great service providers, these great makeup artists and these great hairdressers and barbers and all sorts of people who produce all kinds of different products. They're not free. They're not free to produce. They're not free to deliver. Okay. So the directory is not free. Okay. Greg Blumenthal says free devalues the product in the minds of the customers. Yeah, it certainly can, depending on what you're offering. Now, again, you have to check the value. And remember what I've said. Know your worth is know it. Doesn't mean it's high, right? All around the world, everybody, when you say know your worth, everybody thinks it's extremely high. No, it depends on what you're doing. If you want me to fly the plane, if you get on a Delta aircraft and you see me as the pilot, run. Right? I can know my worth all day. My best worth is not in the cockpit of an airplane that's going to fly commercially with other human beings. My worth is zero, beyond zero. You see me, you get on an airplane anytime soon. You see me dressed up as a pilot that says good morning or good afternoon or good evening, and I'm getting ready to fly that plane. Don't you get on that plane. All right. Marvis Rogers, what's going on? Don't get on that plane. My worth isn't there. Okay. So yes, Greg's right. Free devalues the product. And so no, the directory is not free. Let me share with you the value that you get with this particular directory because it's online and you can see the different payment options, which I'll speak to here shortly. But if you go down, there's a search function here that you can search any business or by industry, by name, any I guess information that would be in the directory. You can search right here and be able to narrow that down to a business. Okay. So what you have here is you have essentially a logo or picture, depending on what was submitted. You've got the business owner's name, their title, a short little blurb about them, their website address, and then if they were on a podcast episode, you've got that link down here in the read more. So here you got Summer Owens, who was a great guest that I had a few episodes ago, along with my brother Larvizo Wright. And so if you go here, if you click on this, it's going to pull up just a little bit larger image and more information about Summer, including her phone number, her email address. That's a way for you to connect with her here right from the directory. Okay, so you go back, and again, you can go and you can click, pull up her her website address, and then since she was a podcast guest episode, you can click right here on the episode. Let's see. I think it's down. Let's see. There we go. All right. So you can actually click on the episode. It'll take you right to the episode that she was actually on back several episodes ago. So you're able to do that right in here. Okay. For someone that was actually on an episode. Yep. So here you go for Dr. Teresa Woodard, who was way back on episode 58. It takes you right here, and you can see and listen to her podcast, and you can see information as far as show notes and that sort of thing. And so that's tremendous. It opens up in another I guess browser tab for you for your convenience, and then you can come right back here. So I didn't transfer over that for Summer, went to another browser. So you can see here, this directory is going to go out to my email distribution on a monthly basis. That's now over 18,000 individuals. Cody Tate, what's going on, my brother? Jimmy Dickey, what's up, man? Thank y'all so much for joining. 18,000 people on the email distribution. And that's significant. That's 18,000 people that I've come across. These aren't just email addresses that I purchased or anything like that. These are 18,000 email addresses that I've acquired from people that I've actually met and interacted with over the years throughout most of it's through my banking career. Okay. So these are folks that are engaged. They look to get content from me. And so on a monthly basis, the link to this directory will go out to those individuals. In addition, I will be boosting this, and I have been boosting this to great response so far on social media. So whether that's on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram, and on Twitter, this will be boosted throughout the month, probably 2 to 3 times per month. I will boost posts that will be direct links to this directory. So this is going to get in front of a pretty nice audience. I've got, as many of you know, a great audience at Champ Ron across social media and on LinkedIn. Thirdly, and this is powerful as well, and this is very unique for you as a value proposition, is this directory. I am endorsed with 11 state banking associations. I'll share with you real quick what a state banking association is. In each state, There are, and it's typically in the capital city. So, for example, here in Tennessee, the State Banking Association is in Nashville, Tennessee. In Illinois, the State Banking Association is in Springfield, Illinois. In Minnesota, it is in Minneapolis. In Michigan, it is in Lansing. In Kansas, it's in Topeka. In Nebraska, it's in Lincoln, Nebraska. So wherever the capital city is where the State Banking Association is. The State Banking Association advocates for the community banking industry in that state. So they advocate for laws and provisions and things like that that benefit community banks and the communities they serve. And that's part of what I do. That's my business there with Brooks Brothers Consulting and CRA Partners. Okay? Those 11 state banking associations I am endorsed with. So I'm an endorsed vendor with 11 of them, most of them in Midwestern states. Okay? Those state banking associations have agreed, and I'll be working with them across several states, that they will send out this directory link to its members. Now, why is that important? Okay, why is that valuable, Ron? The reason it's valuable is because who's got the money in the states? The banks. That's where y'all go to get your money, right? Even if you got it on Cash App. Cash App has its money through Sutton Bank. So you're getting things through the banks. All right? So the folks that get the communication from the state banking associations, that's where they look to get their information. The state banking associations also provide resources for community banks. Because think about it. If a bank's only so big, every bank is not Wells Fargo or Bank of America, right? Where they can have training staff in-house and attorneys in-house and training and development courses and people that you can pay big salaries to and have them, conduct things for you. If your bank is only but a certain size, you need that type of resource, particularly if you're in a rural area and you don't attract the type of talent and that you can pay and have on staff. So the State Banking Association, again, advocates for that and provides training and development and resources for state bank or for community banks from the State Banking Association. So because of that, they look for these emails. Emailing your banker right now is not an easy feat. They're busy with PPP lending and all kinds of stuff that's going on, right? One of the emails they will answer, whether it's a bank CEO or a part-time teller, is the email from the State Banking Association, right? Because they're the ones they filtered in. They're expected to weed out even vendors. That's why it's important to become endorsed, right? Everybody would like to sell anything they can to the bank, right? Anybody that's got anything they want to sell. So to keep the banks from having to constantly be inundated with salespeople and vendors and all that, the State Banking Association serves as a vetting buffer, so to speak. So when I come through endorse, a bank can be comfortable and have trust and confidence that I've been through the ringer with the State Banking Association, which I have, all right? Because the State Banking Association, you can't just write a check, okay? You can't just show up and bug the hell out of them. That's different than like a lot of podcasters get on radio, right, or TV. They'll accept anybody that bugs the hell out of them and has reasonable content, right? Everybody's looking for content right now. So they'll accept that. In some cases, it doesn't cost you anything. You might pay a little bit of money to be on the air. You can't pay money to be an endorsed vendor with a State Banking Association. The only way you do that is you have to present to their board of directors, and they have to have a majority vote for you to be a part of that. So that's why it makes it more exclusive than simply sending out things to content providers, radio stations, and all that type of thing. So because of that, when you invest in this directory, you're going to get your business information in front of a lot of people and a lot of people with buying power, because these are folks that are bank CEOs, CFOs, and they're all consumers too. And a lot of them make their way to Memphis. And a lot of ways they can do business with you online or remote. Okay. So this is a different crowd that's not going to be on your social media timeline, because a lot of these bankers are not big social media folks, especially at the C-suite level or from middle management on. So you're not going to come across them on Facebook or Instagram and that sort of thing. But these are the kind of people that are looking for your business. They're looking to connect with you. Okay, folks? So get involved with the directory. Okay? So that's the value. Email distribution, social media distribution. I'll talk about it here on the podcast. Okay? And also, it's going to go to the state banking associations. And I'm just going to tell you right now, as someone that's been working with most of them for the last 2 years, you want to get your information in front of them if you're serious about your business and growing your business at whatever stage that you're at. These are folks that are looking for places to spend their money, and just as much so build relationships in their market and outside their market. And so they're looking forward to seeing this directory. Okay. So I've already sent out the first round towards the end of June. It was very well received. I've got great feedback from people. The open rate with emails that come from the State Banking Association is very high. Typically, if I were to go out and just buy email addresses and send it out with MailChimp and all that type of thing, I could buy 10,000 email addresses and probably 2, 3, 4% of them get open. And out of that, 20, 30% of those get read. And out of that, a handful of people actually do something. With the State Banking Association emails that go out, their open rate is well over 70%. And you're talking about thousands of thousands. 95%, in most states, 95% or more of the banks in that state are members of the State Banking Association. Vicenzia, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining on Facebook. Kimberly Woods, how you doing? Brandon Young. Zach Wiggs, what's going on, my brother? Steve Centel, fellow banker in the mortgage business, joining as well, man. Thank you so much. Cody Tate, Jimmy, what's up? So yeah, this is a way for you to get involved with the online Minding Your Business directory. And that's the value proposition that I'm providing you and your business. All right. So what's your investment? Your investment, as you can see here on the screen, for those that are watching, for those that are listening, just hear me out. For a year, so on the annual basis, is $240. Right? That's it. $240 to be part of the directory. Anytime you need to update, you will be able to just send that in to me. Just via email, ron@themybpodcast.com. It's very convenient. You can, if you're updating your logo, link information, whatever it is, that gets updated very expeditiously, and you'll be here again, part of the directory. If you prefer to do that monthly, if you prefer to pay that, you didn't want to pay the amount for the annual, I'd encourage you to do the annual. That one is going to save you money, and if you think about just from your own accounting piece, you could keep up with it a little better, be done with it for the year. But if not, if you choose to do monthly, you can do that at $30 a month. Okay, which is very reasonable to be part of a directory. All right, so I encourage you to do that. When you go to themybpodcast.com/team, you'll see the options that I just mentioned, $240 a year or $30 a month. You can do that via PayPal, as well as your debit or credit card, whichever you prefer. And it'll just, on monthly, it'll just automatically deduct that on the day that you select each month. And then on the annual, it'll just re-up on that same date 12 months later. All right? So again, this is the benefit that you get from being in an online directory. I encourage your support, as shout out to everybody that has supported so far. I've got a list of businesses to add today. But Brenda Riggins with Mars Contractors, I'd like to thank her. She's president. They're down in Miami, one of the largest black general contractors in this country. And she was on episode 137. So a little while back, earlier this year, she was on an actual episode, so you can check that out. Danielle Reed with DR and Associates, located here in the Germantown area, which is a suburb of Memphis. You could check her out. She's the founder there of DR and Associates. She helps you with your public relations, your branding, and your marketing. Invaluable. Dr. Crystal DeBerry, who's actually a soror of mine of one Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. She's the founder and owner of De Novo Clinical Strategies. Thank her for her support. At Home Health with the girl Kaylin Johnson here in the Memphis area. Helping your loved ones be comfortable and helping them manage their health from home is very critical. I work with a lot of seniors as it comes with banking, and this is a very critical thing as our population continues to get older. So definitely support her. She's there at Home Health. Target Funding is the book by Kedma Oy. She was a guest back episode number 88. She's an author and business funding expert. You can check her out. Boss Up My Career. Help your career with a career advisor with Mo Mastermind. My girl Monique. You can check her out at Boss Up My Career. Of course, for myself, Brand Pod, I want to help you launch your podcast. Listen, if you only do social media, you don't own that content, folks. Once you put it on there, they can do whatever they want with it. You don't own it. Own your content. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. I don't have no big sexy equipment. I've told y'all that. Right now, I'm in the bonus room of my house here in Memphis. Brand Pod, that's brandyourpod.com. Summer Owens, I mentioned her earlier. She was on an episode, actually 157. So a few weeks back, shout out to her with So What. She's an author, speaker, So What Success Coach. And then also Dr. Teresa Woodard, who I mentioned earlier. She's a medical consultant with TW Med Consulting right here in the Memphis area. She's working hard. Of course, we got the COVID-19 deal going on, and she's working hard with that, as well as just overall health and wellness. And she's willing to help you with that. So that's just a few of the businesses that are in the directory currently. I'm adding more here each day. I'm getting requests, and you should make your requests. So I encourage you with that. I'm not here to just sell things, but this is to promote your business. And so that's why I wanted to do this on today. So go to themybpodcast.com/team, and you all can be a part of it. I'd love for you to be able to do so. And $240 a year or $30 a month to promote your business or your organization. Okay? Listen, thank y'all so much. I appreciate everybody, the comments, the inboxes here on social media. Thank you so much for all that you do. We're at the start of the third quarter. This year has blown by. It's been a trying year, but this is not a year to throw away. There's been a ton of challenges with the pandemics that we're fighting, with racial injustice towards black people, as well as the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic that we're dealing with. And then many of you are dealing with your own miniature pandemics that you have in your life, whether it's your own health, maybe there's anxiety, maybe you're dealing with the loss of loved ones, maybe you're dealing with joys, maybe you've had an addition to your family, maybe you've been able to get married, maybe you've been able to buy a house, buy a car, maybe you've gotten over some tough times, or maybe your health has improved. For all of it, this has been a year of ups for some, downs for many, but we're going to continue to make it. But be a part of the directory. Support me in that. I really appreciate it. Share it with others. So if it's not something you want to support or be involved in, you may know others that would like to be involved with the directory and have their information in there. So share that with them and encourage them to do so. Thank you so much for being a part of today's podcast. This was episode number 168. I am Champ Ron, and this is the Minding Your Business podcast. There's no business like minding your own. Listen, y'all go be great for yourself, be great for your family, be great for your community. Those are all the three things that we all want in common, right? We all want to do better for ourselves, our families, and our communities. Have a great weekend. Be safe if you're going to celebrate what people have been celebrating since, I guess, 1776. Do what you do if that's what you got to do. But either way, be safe this weekend and come back. We'll be right back with episode 169. We keep this thing going. And that's what it's about. We want to keep it going. TheMYBpodcast.com/team.